makes me want to holler, go away. I need more peace and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? I need strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I've got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
Oh, we need them. Yeah, we do. We need those strategies, don't we? Those strategies for living. So are you ready? Are you ready for your daily dose of radio rehab? You're over there beating your microphone, so I guess you're ready.
I am practicing TPS. That was timing and precision, and it had to be synchronous.
Good timing, Lauren. Hey, folks, welcome into Strategies. I'm Dr. David McMillan. She is psychotherapist, LPC Lauren Leon McMillan. So question for you, Lauren, is it possible? Mm-hmm. Is it possible to get out of this life without some kind of trauma?
All God's children got a little trauma.
Yeah, I think you're right. How about if I told you that our life strategist today, his name is Darius Ross. Mm-hmm. He is a former homeless teen turned entrepreneur and community leader. So Darius knows exactly what trauma feels like.
Yeah, sounds.
He knows why it happens, how the process, and he also knows how to get out of it. And we're going to, he wrote a book, and we're going to talk about that book today. It's called Mastering the TPS Blueprint. And you just named it, right?
God. Yes.
You kind of like this, don't you?
Yeah, I think it's a really neat concept.
I think that not only is this an important and elegant process, mm-hmm. neat process, but I think that we're going to have a very eye-opening conversation today with Darius Ross. Growing up around poverty and violence and chronic instability, Darius is absolute proof that it doesn't have to shape your story. Mm. And I think this is so important for us to all hear today. I actually hope there's a lot of young people listening to us right now. I have no idea how many there are, but I hope there's some, and I hope this show will be passed on. Yeah. Darius Ross here on Strategies for Living today. Folks, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you, and we appreciate our sponsors making it possible. The Robinson Film Center, Azalea Cleaners, Pintail Roofing, Restore Healing, Fertitas Delicatessen, home of the Buffys, SRT Sales Training, Uprising Addiction Center, and Mira Direct Primary Care. Back in a moment. Our life strategist today is Darius Ross here on Strategies for Living. Come back with us.
Tune in daily, find the light. Healthy mind and spirits bright. Strategies for living strong. Feel the vibe, it won't go wrong. Body moves and soul align. Catch the rhythm, feel the time. Radio rehab every day. Chase those clouds of gray away. Your daily dose of radio rehab. Lift you up when skies seem trapped. Mind and body, spirits free. Living life in harmony.
Welcome into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. Let's welcome into the program now Darius Ross. He describes himself as a serial entrepreneur who has faced some of life's toughest challenges from homelessness to urban warfare. And these experiences have shaped his tactical and strategic skills, which have enabled him to succeed in both small business and Fortune 500 corporations. He's built and scaled multiple businesses, some thriving, and he's written a book for all of us. It's called Mastering the TPS Blueprint, Transforming Trauma into Triumph. Darius Ross, welcome to Strategies for Living.
Welcome.
It is a pleasure to be here, Dr. and Ms. McMillan. Looking for a great conversation.
So, should I refer to you as Darius, or should I refer to you as DMan?
I like DMan. I like that one.
Okay.
The man.
DMan. I love it. So, give us a thumbnail. Give folks an idea. We're gonna come to the future, but first, let's go to the past. DMan, tell people in your own words, kind of what you came from. I mean, most of us can't even imagine being homeless. What was your experience?
It was based on after a tragic fire at the home, and a lot of memories were lost. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately speaking, in the midst of all that, you had the gang warfare that was going on in the 80s in Chicago. In the midst of all that, you had the drug crisis and the HIV crisis. So this was a little bit of everything going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't help but think, you've written about the idea of turning trauma into triumph. But with that background, what did the survival, what did that teach you that was useful? But then also, what did it teach you that maybe you had to unlearn?
The key was, especially in African Americans and minorities, including Hispanics and so forth, is that there's something called urban PTSD, which is a little different from warfare and inner, out warfare. Urban city inner warfare is like you never really leave that environment, mentally speaking, because you might be a millionaire in the suburbs, you might have all the cars and everything else, but you're still realizing how many people were left behind as a result of where you came from. So the one thing it teaches you is the ability to have resilience and the ability to say to yourself, as I used to hear, on the shoulders of giants you stand. So I had a debt of gratitude to pay the ancestors that didn't make this journey.
Yeah. And there's no question. And Darius, we talk a lot on the program about, Lauren said, all God's children have trauma. Many of us have little t trauma, not big T trauma like you did. Big T trauma, talk about, growing up in a gang, warfare situation like you're describing, or being homeless at some point during childhood. That's big T trauma. But little t trauma, many of us, most all of us experience multiple times throughout life. And the thing that, oftentimes happens with trauma is the hypervigilance. That even people who are very successful, they're successful on the outside, but the hypervigilance is still there. It's still inside. Can't fully rest, can't fully trust. Sometime somewhere deep inside, I'm just waiting for the other shoe to fall. I'm waiting for things to fall apart. Did you experience that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, most of my friends will never talk about it. And keep in mind that I lost about 200 friends growing up from maybe 14 to 25, say.
Wow.
So the thing about it is we never talked about it.
Yeah.
And those of us that talked about it, we experienced this thing of the trust factor, the concept of how do you turn around and keep on keeping on? Because at some point in time, you just want to give up because it's like, what else is there left? Everything has been taken that
Yeah.
And now it's like, what now?
Darius, what was the turning point for you? What happened for you where you decided, okay, I'm not going to stay here where I am. I want to go someplace else. And that eventually led to your success in business, obviously both in, your own companies and working for corporations. What was it that what was the turning point for you? What was the decision point for you that said, I got to do something different?
I had decided that the hustle of the inner city was something that I wanted to engage in. And so once I had gotten arrested, and my father was one of those strict disciplinarians that left me there, and he was kind of waving at me as I'm looking at him walking away. And at that point in time, I realized, you know what? Help ain't coming. And he was the kind of man, you got out, you're on your own. If you stay in there, you're on your own.
Yeah.
So the thing about it was when you realize help's not coming and all you got, you start recognizing that, you know what, this is not the life. And the funniest part about the story is I managed to get myself bailed out on the I-bond. But on the way out, this was the turning point. A guy's yelling down from the tears, and the way Cook County Jail is designed, there were tears. And he goes, fresh fish is on tonight. Oh, no, that's it. I'm done. That was it. Just that verbiage of him saying I'm a fresh fish, and it's like he's about to have me as trout.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm done.
Yeah.
So fast forward, and today, and I'm holding in my hands, it's a USA national bestseller. It's called Mastering the TPS Blueprint. I'll hold it up here to the radio so people can see it. But you can get your copy wherever you buy it, available on Amazon and lots of different places. But basically, TPS is timing, precision, and synchronization. So it's like a stool. It's like a three-legged stool. How did you develop the three legs of this stool, Darius?
I realized I was a history major and a historian for military history. And I realized every single battle, and Sun Tzu says in The Art of War, every battle is won before it's ever fought. So as an example, timing is off, you're done. Because if you're not at the right place at the right time, precision. You have to be like an assassin. You have to be precise, and you can't be 1 second missing the beat. And then last but not least, synchronicity, all things have to come together. So I give the perfect example. If Adolf Hitler had went into Africa later, then the world would be a little different. If he had went into Russia after the winter, it would have been different because he was told by Rommel, you can't turn around and win the war in Russia because the winter is going to destroy the soldiers. And the same thing in Africa with the sandstorms. Some people don't understand how sometimes the greatest battles and the greatest turns of history were based upon something that all came together or didn't come together.
Right. But one has to recognize that. And I think that's...
Absolutely.
Yeah, one has to recognize time and precision, synchronization all work together. Do you remember when you decided, I got to write a book? This has got to become a book. Do you remember that?
When I heard so many of my friends say, oh, well, I was just, I was the best of this and I was the best of that, I said, no, let me explain something to you. There's something that we call faith in God. And at the end of the day, nothing is happenstance. Every experience that you have is basically in some way, form, fashion, manner, is universe and God designed. So as a result, if you walk outside today and for whatever reason, you were broke and all of a sudden you look down and you see $50, that wasn't happenstance. That was designed. So often we think, okay, well, no big deal. God has nothing to do with it. So many people don't really get that. I've had so many blessings based upon, God's blessing, like, okay, you're at the right place at the right time. Something was happening. Or you were told, I've heard him sometimes say to me, nope, not today. Don't go out this time. And clearly something happens. I even missed a flight that was going to crash. And I wasn't on that flight because that morning my toothbrush fell. And when the toothbrush fell, I hit my head and I was like, oh, man, but it stopped everything that was going on. I missed that flight. So sometimes it's based upon God's blessing.
Yeah. So many times we get those blessings and we label them, we call them coincidence.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we don't say in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Coincidence.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah, and so I think your point is so well made. So the early on in the book, you begin to talk about discipline. You begin to talk about determination and attitude, and how our head can do a number on us. But I'm really, really interested in discipline. I remember I was a fairly young man, and I got a hold of a copy by synchronicity of a book called The Road Less Traveled.
Mm-hmm.
And it absolutely turned my life upside down in a good way. And, you know, the very first sentence of that book is life is difficult. That's the first sentence. And then he goes on to talk for the first 72 pages or so about discipline, responsibility, honesty, and balancing. How important is discipline, Darius?
I'll say it this way, and this is the best way I know how. Anytime that you are going to achieve any goals, it's based upon how focused you are with that discipline. And I'll define discipline a little bit differently. It's will you continuously keep showing up, knowing that you may or may not win. And that's the bottom line to it. A ball player has to shoot 10,000 shots in order to get the game-winning shot in the championship game.
Yeah.
If we look at a gymnastic, she has to keep on practicing through injury, through accident, again, to make the Olympics.
Yeah.
And the same thing with a soldier. You are not going to make that perfect shot, which might save your squad if in the event you didn't make 10,000 shots before that time.
Yeah.
It's all a matter of consistency.
We're talking with Darius DMan Ross today, Mastering the TPS Blueprint. It's a USA national bestseller, transforming trauma into triumph. We're talking about it today with Darius Ross, our life strategist, here on Strategies for a Living. We've got more to come, more to learn. Stay with us.
Facing the same old problems day to day makes you wanna holler, get away. Looking for the road that'll get me there. Looking for hope and peace to spare. Looking for strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
And welcome back into Strategies for a Living Radio. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan. We're with the author of Mastering the TPS Blueprint, and that's timing, precision, and synchronization. His name is Darius Alexander DMan Ross. And Darius, I want to focus on and ask you about one thing that you write about. And you say your head can do a number on you. Is that an understatement or what? How does that happen? What do you mean by your head can do a number on you? And why does why do so many of our heads do so many numbers on us?
You basically are your own worst enemy. Because no one knows whether or not you are or are not capable of whatever you think you're capable of. For example, the best con man believes his own con. Okay?
Yeah.
So as a result, one of the things I learned in sales, I would always say best, as a salesperson, I can sell venom to a snake, I can sell snow to Santa Claus, and of course, I can turn around and charm the panties off of a genie. The point of it is, are you capable of believing in your own self? Nobody knows that you don't know other than you. So you spend so much time in your own head doubting yourself, and that's where things go wrong at. You're doubting your own self. Nobody knows.
Yeah. I think our egos completely do a number on us, and it's very, very difficult to even realize, wait a minute, the ego's there doing its thing, and that ain't me. Yeah.
That's it.
So, we, our mind, you talk in the book about our minds loving mediocrity. And man, I think that is so important for us to wrap our brains around, our arms around. What do you mean when you say the mind loves mediocrity?
When you look around and you start in class in school and you're made fun of in school for being superb or superior, and you start to find out, it's easier to just blend in, because if I stand out, people are going to make fun of me. So some of the best entrepreneurs are geekish or just don't fit in, but they create all these wonderful products. I mean, if you sit down and think about it, the average millionaire and billionaire didn't finish school. And the average millionaire and billionaire was picked on, and they were just, not even considered conceptually, mentally aware, right? It's like they can't even do basic things. Einstein couldn't even do basically walk down the street, but these guys are brilliant. But that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
Mediocrity is loved because it's easy to blend in. When you got to stand up, that means you got to stand up. You got to go through things. You got to go through challenges. And it's like there's a rapper, Notorious B.I.G., where he says, "More money, more problems." Well, see, that becomes the issue. Sometimes, in order to be the best that you can be, you got to take the problems that come with that, and most people don't.
Yeah. How do you tell people to really tune in? Because we've all God's children got trauma. All God's children got problems. How do you tell people to really tune in and become more aware, more self-aware, Darius, of whatever problems might be on board?
You have to actually look in the mirror and ask yourself, am I tired of the problems that I'm going through? You know what your problems are. You know whether or not you're dealing with sickness that relates to I'm afraid of moving forward. You know whether or not it's mental illness directly. You know whether or not it's some phobia you had or whatever it is. If you can look in the mirror and just face it once and for all and say, you know what, this is me. I'm afraid, I have concerns, I can't get past it, I don't know what to do. That's the starting point, just acknowledgement. Will you take accountability? Most folks don't want to take accountability because accountability means that now you have to address it. And to address it means you got to do something about it.
Yeah. Yep. You also write about gratitude. And Lauren and I on this program talk a lot about gratitude. I guess I'll ask you, from your perspective, how important is that G word, the gratitude word?
It is the most important thing when they say teamwork makes the dream work. This is how I look at it. All the way down to the person that carries my bags into the hotel. I give great respect to that individual because I realize he's doing a job, but he's human. And so I've seen people saying that, they won't even associate with him, blah, 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 blah. No, I want to turn around and ask him, how's his family doing? What's he going through? I want to make sure I give him a nice tip because he's doing something for me that I don't want to do. That's the thing about it. I don't want to carry the bag.
Yeah.
I don't want to turn around and drive you where I want to go sometimes. But these people take the time out to do these things, and they deserve the respect and the gratitude and the admiration for those of us that utilize their services. They're human. And that's the thing that I've heard people say, well, I don't want to associate with them. No. You have to understand without them, you would not have the system and the infrastructure that you need to function. So in my world, I need this infrastructure. So I'm grateful to all the people that are on the team, no matter what level they are.
Yeah. For so many people, the mind is a problem. It's a wandering thing. And, you write and talk about in the book, and again, folks, the name of the book is Mastering the TPS Blueprint, Transforming Trauma into Triumph. You talk about learning to control your own mind. How do you tell people to start that process, Darius?
I think one of the most important features of that is controlling your tongue. So many people, and I start with my own parents with that, I used to tell them, some of the things that you say you can't take back. And I'm very cognizantly aware of, I'll count to 30 when I'm in a confrontational situation. I'm counting in my head as I'm looking at that person saying, I can't say that, I can't say that, I can't say that. I don't know how it's going to come out. And then I calm down. Yeah. And the same thing with the text. Before I send that text, I'm going to make sure that I thoroughly look at how it's going to be received. And you control your mind because you start realizing just because you think it does not mean you say it. And I use my parents as that. I mean, they have this profound way of, they like to say whatever's on their mind, and they're elderly and they say it. I'm like, no, I can't do that because I don't know how somebody's going to receive what I'm saying. So one of the key things of it is being able to respect the fact that you have to take the time out to realize what you say has value and it has merits, and sometimes it has accountability to things that you didn't expect. You don't know how somebody's going to receive it.
Yeah. sometimes we say things that change people's lives, and we don't even know we've done
Yeah.
that. Yeah, and that could be changing people's lives. Could
For
go
the
into
better
a
or for the
positive
worse,
direction
yeah.
or a negative direction. So, how, so many people to start the process, Darius, of change, and you had to do this in your own life. Share with us what you can about how you did it, but we have to accept where we are. We have to recognize where we are, and accept our circumstances, accept whatever it is that's going on in my current life. How do you tell people to start that process?
See, the thing about acknowledging where you are. See, I've been as poor can be, and I've been as wealthy can be. And one of the things that I see that's very important is that you have to acknowledge the fact of what you actually have gone through and realize those are processes that God took you through for a reason. They say he takes you through no more than what you can handle. But see, sometimes people don't realize what they can handle. And so, I've been in places where I'm like, I look up and it's like, I even had a speech that I talked about that one time where I've cursed God, where I've been like, yo, enough is enough. Don't you think I deserve a break today? Come on now. Because sometimes you get challenged to the utmost extremes where it's like, you know what? I've been an angel. I've been dedicated to your mission. Give me a break now. Stop the hammering.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you need that in order to bring you to reality check, because you have to acknowledge the fact that there are certain people that are given certain missions. And your mission is a little different from everybody else's. And so you got to realize the reason why you go through certain things is because I'm testing you. I want to see whether or not you can handle the mission that I've given you.
Yeah. One of the hamburger places, their one of their themes is "You deserve a break today." Yeah, but the only problem is God doesn't run a hamburger stand.
That's right. That's it.
So one of the things that you do, and this really got my attention in the book, is you have a list of questions that assist folks along the way. Let me just quickly share some of these. I won't share all of them because there's 20 of them in here, but some of them really got my attention, especially number one. What would you do if you're told you only have 10 more years to live? What are you afraid of? How have you changed since you were little? How do you feel when you think back on your past? What makes you happy? How could you help others? What's essential for you? What could you not do without? Do you respect and trust yourself? That's just a handful of what you've got in here. But I want to go back to number one, because I close the show every day. You don't know this, Darius, but every single day, and I've probably done it for, 25 years. I say, if today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call to make, who would you call, and what would you say, and why are you waiting? Make the call. And so this first question that you asked really struck me. What would you do if you're told that you only have 10 more years to live? You put that one number one. Why?
Because I don't think that most people realize how short life is. I'm 61 now, and this is the fourth quarter in one. Everything that I do from this point forth is it. There is no playback. There's no replay. There's no Monday night quarterback. I wish I could have did this and other. So all the people that I've lost, they're gone.
Yeah.
So now all I have to do and all I can do is focus on what I'm going to do going forward. So often people keep saying, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to travel. Well, go travel.
Yeah.
I'm going to turn around and find a new significant other. Well, go find her.
I'm
going to turn around and do something that, I haven't done. Do it.
Master the TPS Blueprint. That's the name of the book. Mastering the TPS Blueprint. Darius Ross. He's our life strategist today here on Strategies for Living. We've got more to come. Stay with us.
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies Strategies for living radio.
And welcome back in. Welcome back into Strategies for Living Radio. Lauren Leon McMillan, David McMillan, with Darius Ross today. Darius Alexander DMan Ross, Mastering the TPS Blueprint. Excellent, excellent book. It's a USA national bestseller. And Darius, you've written my kind of book. You know what that is, don't you?
No, sir. Tell me.
Small.
Small but powerful, packed.
One of, really, I mean, I think back over the years of books that have been most impactful in my life. And some of the most impactful ones were not 300-page books. They were relatively small books. And I don't know if you...
Maybe in word count, but not in...
but not in power.
Yeah.
And so you've just got a little over 100 pages in this book, but they are power-packed. And so thank you for that. Yeah. Thank you very much for that.
I will say this, Dr. Millen, this is the dynamic challenge that book actually was 1,000 pages long.
Wow.
I was forced to do the publication scenario, no choice.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, you did a great job.
You did a wonderful job.
Darius, as I listen and as we talk, I can't help but hear that, when we think about TPS, the timing, the precision, and the synchronicity, I can't help but hear that it sounds less like something that we have to manage or do in terms of the TPS, but more about something that we become aware of that's already happening and to change our perspective about it. Am I understanding that right?
You're absolutely right. It's the ability to perceive and embrace it. See, sometimes something as simple as going to the gas station and you're being completely broken. I've had this happen many years ago. Stick an ATM card, doesn't happen. Second machine, doesn't happen. The third machine, bingo. I'm going, yippee, I got gas. But the point of it was, that was God testing you. Will you turn around and try that last one?
Yeah. So
it's embracing it.
Yeah. So if TPS is working in someone's life, what begins to look different for them? How would I be able to recognize that I'm in alignment, so to speak?
When you realize that nothing that is happening in your life was by chance, by luck, or anything like that, and when you start looking at, okay, now I'm looking at my life where basically I'm hearing. I mean, can you hear the messages? Can you hear whether it's God talking to you, and even sometimes, and I'll say it in an interesting way, Satan talks to you. He might tell you to do something that's kind of off, and you're like, you know what? I don't think so. I mean, I've had that happen too, where the two were battling on one shoulder, and it's like, all right, one saying one thing, one saying the other one. And common sense has a kick in. Literally, just watching those little ifs, as they call it. It's happened.
Yeah.
So whether or not you can actually embrace the fact that sometimes you can learn from a foolish person, if not to do what they do. You gotta be able to just clearly hear it, but see, you gotta get the noise out of your head. That's the key.
Yeah. One of the areas that you write about, one of the chapters is about mentality. And you talk about the loser outlook and you talk about the winner outlook. What exactly do you mean by the loser outlook?
You are comfortable in accepting defeat before you even get started. I can't do this. It's impossible. It's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It's like a young man saying to himself, he's looking for a date, and gorgeous girl refuses to walk up to her. Is it the fact that the girl's gorgeous, or is it the fact that he's not able to understand that she wants a date too? And in more likelihood, she probably has no date, but he's afraid to approach her, all because of some preconceived notion of that she's going to tell him no.
Yeah.
Okay, so contrasting that loser outlook, what's the winner outlook?
When you embrace the simple concept of nothing is beyond my reach and nothing is beyond my ability to achieve it. Very simple.
Yeah.
That's it. That's you. Okay, so you're like my hero, Scott Peck, and you also talk about balance. He talks about delaying gratification, accepting responsibility, honesty, and balance. That those are the 4 tools of discipline. And I was very, very glad to see that you included balance. What is balance?
To embrace something simple that there's always going to be good and evil and they have to coexist. Now, can you turn around and look at good and evil in such a way where you realize there are points in time where you're going to be skirting the line, you're in the gray zone. And can you look at that and say, you know what? This is one of those moments where I have to stay within the alignment of things I can and cannot do. And I realize why I can't do it. And then accept that. You know, can you basically judge it and be like, you know what? I know that I can get away with this, but it's not the right thing to do. And then on the other hand, it's the right thing to do, but it's kind of a questionable situation. So on the one hand, I'm going to do something that's questionable, but how is it going to impact people in a better manner or in a blessed manner?
Yeah. I'm going to get up on my soapbox here, Lauren and Darius, please forgive me. But I'm going to get up on my soapbox as I hold the book up. And, number one, it's this book is not going to break the bank, and it's not going to take you a ton of time to go through. I've already said that. But in my opinion, you've got a handful of pages, actually specifically from page 90 to page 95. And what you call those is 8 steps to success. How'd you come up with these 8 steps? And can you share 1 or 2 of them with us?
I came up with them because I looked at how some of the greatest entertainers, sports stars, and just generally political figures were able to accelerate in their lives. And one of the best ones that I say is frame how you look at how you want your future to be. How do you want to look at your future?
Yeah.
And stop looking at how you are now. Frame how you want it to look. Can you look ahead and say, okay, I want to be at this point, and then begin to take the necessary steps to get to that point, versus sitting there saying, I'm all messed up, everything's bad, this and the other. Start making the steps to get to where you want to be at, and you'll be surprised how fast you get there.
Yeah.
So I think I want people to read the whole book, but if you didn't do anything,
You just did that.
if you just read the few pages here with the 8 steps to success, and I think if you do that, you're probably hooked, and you're going to go on and read the next part, which are strategic moves to reach your life purpose. And those handful of pages, Darius, this is just my soapbox, just my opinion, but I think you've whatever people pay for the book, those few pages are worth it. Darius Ross, what a great little book Mastering the TPS Blueprint is. We've been sharing some of it today here on Strategies, and we're going to come back and wrap up the conversation with Darius Ross today here on Strategies for Living. Don't go away. And welcome back into Strategies for a Living. Lauren Leon McBeth. What are you doing over there taking notes?
Well, when you have a guest as important as Darius with this important information, I've got to save it somehow.
Well, I'm glad you are taking notes. That must mean that I'm not going to have to worry about you stealing the book.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, okay. But Mastering the TPS Blueprint, Darius Alexander Ross, our life strategist today. Darius, we've covered a lot of ground. What do you want people to really take away from this conversation today?
I want people to appreciate, here's a man that stands before you, humble as can be, that has seen vast amounts of financial freedom and vast amount of poverty. And from that, I've seen it from jail to hell, so to speak. And you too can come back and do great things if you're willing to change your mindset, if you're willing to be hungry, and if you're willing to get that hustle.
Yeah.
Well said, my friend. Thank you. Thank you for, first of all, for writing the book and sharing it with the world. Thank you for sharing your story. It's not always easy to share our stories. But also thank you for being a wonderful life strategist here with us today on Strategies for Living.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Folks, you can continue the conversation with Darius Ross. How do you do that? Well, pick up the USA National bestseller. It's called Mastering the TPS Blueprint, Timing, Precision, Synchronization, and you can find it wherever you buy books. Darius Alexander Ross. Folks, thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living. We appreciate you being with us, and we appreciate our sponsors making it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, Azalea Cleaners, Pintail Roofing,
Oof, oof.
Restore Healing, Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of those Muffies, SRT Sales Training, Uprising Addiction Center, and Mira Direct Primary Care. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Lauren Leon McMillan, for Darius Ross, I'm David McMillan. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.